Hi, my name's Jen. Welcome to my channel on my plants. Today I have some plant chores, but first, I haven't really shown much of what's going on that's good lately. I feel like a lot of it's been, well, this plant's half dead, this plant needs, saving, rescuing. But first, I figured I'd walk through just a little bit and show you some plants that are okay or even thriving. So let's do that, and then we'll meet back here and fix some things. Before we get to the ones that aren't so great, they're not all horrible. I know I probably make it sound like my collection is in shambles, but really a lot of it's not that bad. I mean, that little majestic there, it's not growing. It's the slowest thing ever, but it's pretty near perfect. This Monstera, health-wise, it's fine. It's supposed to be an albo. We have very little albo or way too much albo. It's one or the other on this guy. I am chopping that all the way down again for, I think, the third or fourth time since I've had it. And what's sad is it actually came to me from Woohoo Tropicals, I don't know, years ago now. They were still on Etsy then. And it was perfect. It really was. It had nice variegation, a fairly good balance of it, but those days have left. Those days are gone. But health-wise, the plant's fine. It grows fine. It grabs the pole fine. It just, it doesn't do, what we want it to do as far as the variegation goes. So we'll just keep chopping. And it'll get better or it won't. I'm not terribly upset about it. I'm willing to keep trying with it. I'll put it that way. This massive philodendron here, that's Philodendron Bob C. I shared it on my Instagram. I don't know if many people follow me over there. I don't think they do. I'm not the most active. But it's the variegated one, and it's great. It's fine. It probably should be repotted, and it probably should have had a pole just for petiole management. Not really because it needs to climb or size up anymore. I don't know how big those leaves are, but it goes almost to my shoulder. So pretty big. That's the newest leaf there. Sorry for the glare from the lights, but it's doing fine. So as negative as I might sound, please forgive me. It's not that negative. It's just been a stressful time. That's not doing great. That's Philodendron Splendid, and it's getting ready to be chopped all the way back. But overall, the Clarinervium is doing good. It's kind of pointing in weird directions. It just came in from outside, so the leaves are kind of splaying all over the place because they were turning away from the sun out there and kind of going as low as they could. They're starting to perk back up, like stand more upright now. It's still got its little friend down in there. But yeah, that's fine. It's fine. The Philodendron Jose Bono, it's doing fantastic. Looks great. Grows great. It's grabbed its little pole. Not that it really needed a pole, but I gave it one. The Philodendron Florida Ghost, it's doing fine. No white anymore, even though it was growing outside and it was getting some direct sun. All green leaves, but it's growing well. It's healthy. I forgot to mention when I was over here by the Bob C, the Florida Beauty, it's doing wonderfully. No issues with this plant at all. The newest leaf over here. It has given me one all green one, but that's okay. That's okay. We're still mostly variegated. We're not freaking out. And there's another one outside. It's the one I cut from. It's doing well as well. I think those plants up there are okay. The Hoya pubicalix, one of them. That's not the one that flowered. The one that flowered is the really massive one that's still outside. I have to untangle it. It has grown into the roof and 4 or 5 other plants. It's just grabbed everybody. I think it's also grabbed, the shelves, the furniture in there, so to speak. Everything's all right. That has had Tigrina, I think it is. I'm sorry. Nope, not Anthurium. Alocasia tigrina, I believe it is back there. It has had spider mites pretty bad, but otherwise still growing. It's not even killing off the leaves that were infested. I mean, it was infested, which is why it's sitting next to plants that aren't so prone to spider mites. This Aglaonema, doing great. Those guys up there are doing pretty good. Philodendron bilietiae, Cerium, Alocasia cerium. You can see it just about touching the ceiling. It really needs to be moved down where it's under the light more, but it's doing well. Hoya lobii, dark, I believe this is. It's doing great. There's a couple of those around. My Regal Shields Alocasia up there, it's doing fine. My little Philodendron Bernardo Pazii, what's left of the poor thing, it's doing well. There's another purple Alocasia back there. I can't remember the name of it, but it's doing great. The Hilo Beauty I just repotted, it's doing well. Down there, those guys are all doing pretty good. Hoyacarii, Philodendron 69686 is doing good. It's drying out fast. I think it needs a new, a refresh on the potting soil, and I'm going to go ahead and pull it while we're here. The same with the Philodendron gigas back there. It's outgrowing that shelf, and it needs a pull. That one is in pawn. I don't know. Yeah, you can kind of see. It just needs some support, I think, because it's leaning on the wall. The wall is what's holding that upright. Everything up there is pretty good, though. These guys here are all doing well. It's mostly a reverted Syngonium, mostly a reverted Syngonium albo. It's done okay, it just came in from outside. I'm not doing anything to it. I might give it a refresher on the potting soil, because it was falling over outside quite a bit. So it's just lost some soil out of there. But it's doing good. And then this one here, this is the little bitty baby Esqueleto, which is already off the top of its pole. It was growing pretty quick. It still is, I guess, but it definitely needs a pole extension, because we've got a full 2 nodes that are getting ready to be off the top there, that are off the top. So that needs a little bit of help. I think I might give the Bilietiae a pull too. I think the last time I repotted it, I was like, nah, I'm not doing that. It is starting to really lean and be floppy in that pot, so it needs some sort of support. Down there, I don't know what that is. First glance, I'd say, oh, that's Gloriosum. If it is, it's a hybrid. It's got to be a hybrid. It doesn't have like the pink that I'm used to seeing on Gloriosum. This is just mechanical damage. You can see I've beat it up a little bit. But this is the newest leaf here. And it does have a lot of Gloriosum type characteristics and some extra floral nectaries. I need to give it a bath. But I say it's not Gloriosum and it's some sort of hybrid because it has a D-shaped stem. So, and all my Gloriosums, I've had several. I don't now because the fungal or bacterial issues that I had earlier this year took them out, but it has a D-shaped stem, and all of my Gloriosum had either like a round or oval type stem. This has a very flat side and then a half round side. I don't know how well I'm showing that, but yeah, it's a D-shaped stem. So, or petiole, I'm sorry. The stem is round, but the petiole, and it's the same on the more juvenile leaves. The shape is the same, so it's not a maturity thing. If you know what that is, let me know. Let me know. Because it's not, if it is Gloriosum, it's not just straight Gloriosum. The leaves even feel different. I don't know how to explain it. They're very thick. They're very thick. It reminds me very much of Glorious, but it's not that either. That is my Philodendron Glorious, looking a little rough over here. We did have some problems with our extra floral nectaries outside and spider mites. That is the newest leaf, sadly, but otherwise it's doing well. I mean, it's doing well. But yeah, this also has round petioles, round or oval petioles. So, yeah, I don't know. It just needs a repot and a new pole. I'm going to leave that leaf even though it's hideous, because it's still working for the plant, but it's not grabbed this pole at all. So I'm just going to change out the pole and put it on a full-size one because this is a, you know, a little shorty. But that's the plan for that guy. I think most of these plants are doing well. We've got Begonia Sinbad up there. Sorry, the lighting is weird. The Monstera Aria I just repotted. That's doing great. It's liking its life in Leca and Pond. This Jade Syndapsis is doing great. It could use a repot just to refresh the soil. There's the Silver Band Maranta that I just recently repotted. It's throwing a little bit of a fit about it, but not bad. Over there on that pole, that's my Global Green Pothos, which I don't know where it's going. It's like running off the edge of the pole over here. It is grown into it, but it does need an extension. It's not looking bad. It just needs an extension. Maybe kind of start guiding it back over toward the center if I can. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, it's doing good. Back there in the corner, back there in the corner, that's Hoya Imperialis, red flower. And it's fine back there, but it's leaning in the corner for a reason, and it's already reached the ceiling there. So those were just some cuttings from the original plant. I think it's 3 or 4 in there. It looks like maybe 3. I'm not sure. But anyway, it just needs some support. It is in Leca, in self-watering in Leca. And it's just gone completely nuts in there. It looks great. It looks great. I'll show you the mother plant, which does not look so great. Back over here on this shelf. You can see where I cut it. Right there, and then up there. And it's grown 3 leaves there, and it's grown 4 down there. So, but that is the base of it. That was what all of that other plant material you just saw came from. I guess since winter, I think I did that. I don't know. I want to say around Vlogmas I had cut that. The cuttings went nuts. They really did. This guy here, it's so cute. It's a variegated Xanadu, which I don't really love Xanadu, but the variegation is cute. It's not something I grow well, and I think it's because I always feel the need to mess with it because of the clumping nature of this plant. But the variegation is cute. It is. It's lovely. So I'm going to try to do better with it with this one. This one just kind of needs a repot. It's fine otherwise. It probably doesn't even really need the repot. I just think it'll make my watering life easier. The little Majestic that I mentioned earlier, it is doing well. I'm surprised that spider mites haven't taken it out. They have before. You can see a lot of bare stem down there. Down here. So there's 2 on here. And I'm just going to put them on a pole, like one of the plastic backed poles, because it is also not grabbing this. I think it's just drying out too quickly. Let's say I just watered it a couple days ago. Actually, it's still damp, much to my surprise, but yeah, this is currently the new leaf on this vine on this side. This one here is broken. It's been hanging on for dear life for a couple months. It's on its way out. And then that is the new one on this side. So, yeah, I think it just needs a repot. Just needs a repot. And maybe a slightly more moisture retentive pole. It's so pretty. It is gorgeous. I love the Majestic. This plant was on my wish list. And I've had it for a couple years, I think, now. And it really hasn't done anything. Maybe 2 years? Not ages or anything, but I've had it for a while. Long enough that I'm surprised it's still that small. Like that short. It's a foot off the ground, maybe 2. But yeah, so despite all my boo-hooing, please don't think it's all bad. I think there's about 150 plants in here, and honestly, the majority of them look pretty good. Pretty good. I'm going to say there's still maybe 100, 150, either around the house or outside in the greenhouse still. So I think it's the majority of my larger Hoyas are definitely still outside, and then, you know, odds and ends, maybe a few of the huge philodendrons and whatnot. Things that are going to be difficult to find a home for in here, just because of their size. So, Yeah, it's not all bad. Okay, so it's not all bad, right? It's not all bad. Actually, most of it's good, I'd say. It seems like I'm focusing on the negative, but I think that's because I always have to do something with those plants. So they're frequently front of mind, I guess. I don't know how to explain that. I don't know. But I guess first I'll work with this global green pothos because I actually have a pole kind of ready here. I'll have to stuff one under the other of it to extend it. But that seems easy, so we'll start there. So this is the plant. I think I showed it to you close up probably as well. But that's what we're working with. It doesn't look bad, right? Sorry, the lighting's a little weird. I don't have the ring light on today. But I think probably you can see. Yeah, it's kind of grabbing there at the edge. Like it wants to run off the side of the pole. It's grown in everywhere. I guess I'll just have to keep an eye on it. And after I get the extension on, pull it back over if necessary. So these poles definitely have a top and a bottom. Can you see it's solid? There we go, I guess it's focusing. It's solid on this portion. It was in a pot, that's why it's kind of, you know, yucky looking. But then it has an open, more open part here. I'm gonna cut this off so that I can just seat it on top and have it keep going, because it's not gonna have to go in a pot. Probably not in the future. It'll probably just have to keep being the top extension part. It's got some little holes down here, I guess for staking it, I'm not sure. But I'm just cutting across those with my little scissors that are struggling. Ooh. We're about to find out if I can cut a straight line or not. I'm guessing not. What do you think? Is it going to meet back up with where I started? Oh, not too bad. A little bit below. A little bit below. It's a little wonky. It's fine. It's fine. So yeah, I'm just getting rid of that solid piece because at one point or another it's going to bump into the next time I have to like cut this plant and propagate it or extend the pole. So no matter which way I had put it, it was going to happen like that sooner or later. Boy, I wish I had a nicer, smoother cut. It's really choppy. I'm just trying to cut that a little bit smoother because I left a lot of like sharp, jagged edges. That's a little bit better. Maybe you can see. Okay, I'm just going to throw these away real quick. Okay. Moss. Of course, it's got a plant sitting on it. This feels awful light, like it's dry. See, a well-prepared person would have planned for this and would have already moistened this moss. Oh, I just stuck a whole block in here that is definitely dry. Okay, water. Water. Okay, that's actually going to take a while to absorb that water, but I'm also going to go ahead and take this because it is dry. Really, really dry. And saturate it. Let that soak up some water too while we wait. Okay, I might have my life together now. I think. No guarantees. I'll put it under here. Okay, so I'm just going to pack this little bit of space that's left at the top of this pole. Wring out any excess water. I just don't want it running all over the table. The water from the moss. If I can help it. It's just sitting in a nursery pot, but it does have a cover pot that it sits on back there, or in back there, to keep it from dripping down on everybody else. This isn't bad. I just showered this hole, like flushed it through the existing moss. I don't know how I'm going to get this attached. These ones are at least the same size. Can I smush it inside? Maybe if I take a little bit of that moss out. I'll take it out of this side. Leave enough room to get it down to the to the holes, so maybe I can zip tie it through there. Perhaps. I've never extended one of these plastic poles before. Just smoosh. Okay. That's not bad. Maybe I won't even zip tie it. Maybe I will, because I do have a weird thing for picking plants up by the pole. If my zip ties are large enough to go around that. I'm just going through the mesh. I realize that you probably don't have the best view of the mesh, but like I'm trying to poke through there. Am I up too high? I don't know. Like it fit in there rather well, but I don't, how do you attach it? Maybe that's what these things they send with it are for. Where did I put those? They're like metal pins. Oh, please don't fall while I walk away. Just stay. It's a leaner. They send a bunch of these metal, like, stakes with it. Because it has holes in it. I think it's actually to stake it into the pot, but I wonder if that'll be helpful in holding the pole together. But then it's got a metal piece sticking out. I will injure myself on that for sure. Maybe I can stick it down there and have it not be super noticeable. That's noticeable. Okay. That's not doing anything at all. It's not helpful in the least. Okay, I guess I'll just have to, like, not pick it up by the pole. Hopefully. We'll see. But that's it. That's all I'm doing to that. It's kind of already grown into the pole off to the side like that, so I'm hoping it's on its way back this way now. But it's already grabbed there. I can see where it's rooted in. So hopefully it'll be okay. I was going to try to pull it back over, but leave well enough alone, I guess. Okay, so now it has to live somewhere else because it won't fit back on that shelf. Let me get its cover pot, which is super dusty. Right. Oh, please don't fall. Yay. Alright, next. Alright, so next is going to be the Esqueleto Monstera. But I need to build a pole for that one, because I don't have any more of those made up. I just got these from Amazon. And hopefully they're the same size as at least one of the poles I normally use. They look like the same. I keep ordering them from the same company, but they were different at one point. They sent me something a little bit more narrow. I'm not sure, I can't remember which it was, but it didn't line up exactly. Like when I go to extend the melanochrysum, honestly, it needs an extension, but it also needs some help. So I've been putting it off. I actually cut it a few months back because I was putting it off. Now it's off the top of the pole again. Yeah, these are the same. For which I am grateful. You would think putting these together is relatively simple, but for some reason I really struggle to get the little pieces, the closure closed, to get them clipped in without popping every other one out like that. I would say it's simple, but not that it's easy. There's a difference between simple and easy. Okay. 8 years later. Which, and I'm going to attach this end, right? Yes. I'm not going to cut it because I'm going to put it upside down and leave that big closed area that doesn't have any mesh. I'm just going to leave that at the top for this particular plant. We'll see how it goes. I just realized you can't really see what I'm doing down here. I'm just stuffing the pole. Or attempting to. I went to buy at Lowe's some bark and soil, you know, just all the stuff that I use to construct some potting mix. And also I was looking for some sphagnum moss because this is all I have is what's right here. And I wanted to do some cuttings in moss. And I have, you know, 6 moss poles to stuff. So I went to look for it and they didn't have any. I don't think that particular Lowe's, there's 2 in a half-hour-ish drive from me. I don't think that particular Lowe's usually has it. I don't know if they carry it. I think they do. I'm sure I found it there before, but they sure didn't have any yesterday, which was a bummer. They had some Halloween stuff out, so that was fun. I'm looking to see how much moss I'm going to need between the 2 poles. But yeah, so I guess I need to go to the other Lowe's to actually get any moss. All right, let me grab the plant. It actually does feel well watered for once. Yeah. Still pretty moist. I don't know, it's a little dry up top. A little. Not terrible. Wait. Yeah, I want to fill that one all the way up. No, because then it makes it harder for me to slip this one in. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'll get you up here where you can see. This one is going in, right? Yes. Hitting the ceiling. And I definitely needed to put more moss in there. Alright, I'm just going to poke it down with my handy dandy chopstick and add from the top rather than pull it back off there. Because I don't feel the need to unnecessarily complicate things. Any more than I already do. Alright. I guess that's alright for now. And once again, I am not going to attach it, so hopefully I won't be sorry. But I am going to attach this vine to the moss pole because it was wandering off the top there. I've got some plant Velcro already cut. Yeah, I'm just going to give it a helping hand to get back on track. I'm pretty sure this is the one I bought as Escaleto. Yeah, it actually has a tag in it for once. I don't know, I guess it got a little bit bigger, a little bit since I first put it in here. It's also had thrips. It's a Monstera thing, isn't it? And I've stopped using so much systemic. I mean, I'll use it if I absolutely can't get rid of thrips or mealybugs, but after the whole spider mite debacle, I try to not. I try to not. Because they actually do make it worse. I think somebody had to tell me that twice before I went, really? I went and looked and did my own research on it. But yeah, I wholly agree. Systemic pesticides do not help with spider mites. Which I knew that, but they also make them worse. It's like fertilizer for spider mites. I don't know, what do you think? Does it look okay? I thought it had a second vine. Yeah, it does. It has a second vine down here that's just kind of hanging out. It's not really, I don't think it's grown at all. I don't know, it's 3 inches tall. Whereas the rest of the plant just kind of shot up there. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But that's that one done. Okay, I have spared you either the agony or the hilarity of me trying to put another pole together because I know I'm going to need it for this gigas. That's what I was saying earlier, is it's supported by the wall. It was just leaning on the wall. Where can I set it for a minute? It's just going to flop over here. Rest on my drink. Please don't poison me. Okay. And I've got this pot here. It's like a wick and grow that I'm going to reuse. Because I am going to put it back in pond. It's in pond now. Even with the moss pole, we're going with the pond. Why am I stuffing it from the far end? Then I just have to shove it even further. I have another gigas cutting. It was from the original plant, which I got maybe last summer or last spring. Not this one past, but the one before that. I can't remember. And it was doing okay, but I think I had it supported by a stick or something. I can't remember. But either way, I chopped it up. I think I kept 4 cuttings. And I only have that one and this one back here. Which this one hasn't done well. It's in soil. I'm debating, do I want to put it on the pole with that one? I don't know. Unsure. Decisions, decisions. Don't fall, just stay. I don't know. Maybe I'll leave that for another day, but I know I want to get this one on a pole today. I gotta go shut that door. My bird is hollering down there because she hears me talking. She hears me talking. Okay. I'll be right back. Okay, she's still gonna holler, but maybe it won't be as loud. Alright, I need to get maybe a little bit more moss than that. I think the plant is already taller than that. I was thinking I was done, but here I am knowing I'm incorrect. It's pretty good on that end. I guess I have to go to this end now, the top. Oops. I'm not really packing it very firm. I'm just making sure it's a little snug. I don't want a huge empty pocket on the side or anything. Okay. Now I'll set the moss aside for a minute. I think I'm still gonna have to go higher than that. I don't know. We'll see in a minute, won't we? I'm going to put a little bit of leca in the bottom of there because the drainage holes are large enough that my pond will fall through. Okay, that's fine. And I guess, should I also put leca in the bottom? I'm debating. Yeah, I'll do some leca, I think. Because it's going to cover up the larger holes at the base of the pole there. I don't know if you can you see that high? Yeah, I guess you can see that high. Okay. Now hopefully that won't fall over and make a huge mess while I get the pawn. Right. Okay. And this is pawn that I've recently boiled, and it does have some leca in it here and there still from not separating when I dump pots. Whoop. This is going to be fun. Do I just try to jam it down on there? How do I do this? I only have one other semi-hydro plant on a pole, and it's Philodendron bipennifolium, I believe, but it's all leca. So I haven't had to try to figure this out. I'm gonna put that. This is gonna be so messy. On here to the best of my ability. Aha! All right. It's a leaner again. Why do I always have a leaner? Okay, I think I got that. Okay. Let's hope I've left enough room to actually get the plant in. I haven't checked this plant, like its roots or anything. I've just kind of left it be. Oh, yeah, there's one little teeny tiny root starting to come out the bottom. All right, let me get a used pond bin, which I think is actually out in the hallway. I'll just dump it in a plant tray or something for now. Dirty saucer for dirty pond. Well, it's not dirty, but you know what I mean. Used. I've become very paranoid about mixing my pond. That was actually pretty dry. The roots look really good though. I don't know, can you see? They're nice and white and fluffy and they look alright. Alright, which way do I want to put this on this pole? This way? No, that's not going to work out great, is it? I'm trying not to squish any petioles. I think it might go this way and not break anybody. I'm not going to worry too much about getting the lower nodes to make contact. I really want the newer ones to, because those are the ones that I'm more likely to get some root action, root growth from. Let me find my Velcro again. What did I do with my Velcro snaggle? It's under the pond? It's under the pond. Victory is mine. Okay. Right there. Can't see. That newest leaf is looking kind of tatty, like maybe spider mites or something had at it. Or maybe it just got underwatered. It's clearly underwatered right now. Come on. Velcro. Okay. Fidgety. Alright. And I definitely need more moss in there, but first I'm going to go ahead and finish filling the pot. I might actually try one piece of Velcro a little bit lower too. Yeah, I think I will. Right there. It looks like it lost a leaf there, so that's a great spot to Velcro. I have room. Hopefully this poor thing will be a little bit happier with some support and a slightly larger reservoir that maybe won't dry out so fast. It hasn't really been that angry, honestly, but it does dry quick. Leaves are pointing all kinds of weird directions. It's fine. It'll figure itself out. I have faith. I have faith. Poor funny looking thing. Okay. I'm gonna go take that, flush that pond through, and get some water, just water, in the reservoir for now, and put this away with the used pond, I guess. Yeah. Oh, I need to refill that, or fill that the rest of the way up. Refill it, fill it. Keep filling. There we go. Keep filling that. I'll put these right in here to be washed. Two. Okay. Wait, did I have another plant I was putting on a moss pole today? Oh yeah, the Majestic. I think that's the last one, the Philodendron Majestic. I might have enough moss to fill a pole for that guy, gal, thing, creature. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Is that above where I need it to be? No, I need to go higher still. It's getting ready to spit out a new leaf any day now. And I mean, it's not really a slow grower when it's properly hydrated and fed, so. A little bit more. Alright, that might give me some time to get some more moss. This thing, like a root in there. There's the most random stuff in this moss from Lowe's. Sometimes I get like plastic. It's like part of a tarp. Plastic in it. Very strange. I'm going to go ahead and attach this node up here too, just so we're making some contact there. Hopefully it doesn't cause me a problem with that leaf that's trying to come out. Let me turn this so I can see it. I don't think it will. I'll just have to keep an eye on it and make sure it's not smashing itself into the the grid, the plastic from the pole. I think we're alright. Other than I got moss in the way, so I can't close the plant tie. There we go. Okay. Water it. Hydrate it. Ugh. I have once again spared you the pain of watching me put together this moss pole. Okay, so I have 3 moss poles left. And 1, 2, and 3 plants that I wanted to put on moss poles. So that's not the problem. The problem is I only have enough sphagnum moss to fill 1 pole. So I'm going to go with this one, but I am going to repot the UPI. I can't remember if I said what that plant was earlier, but it's Philodendron UPI. All right, we'll burn that bridge when we get there, but for now, I'm going to stuff a pole for this plant. It's got spider webs. I don't know if you can see them all over the top of the soil there, which I don't love. So I'm going to kind of pull some of that away. I don't see any actual resident spider. Maybe he was away from home when I brought this plant in, because it's been outside until quite recently in the greenhouse. But like I said, I've been bringing things in. Yeah, I don't see any actual spider. I guess y'all will know if I get bit because I'll be throwing this plant across the room. Oh, that sounds terrible. All right, let me stuff this pole. I mean, I don't want to throw the plant, but at the same time, it's just like a knee-jerk thing when I get bit by a spider. I might have enough to fill this pole for this plant. Unless I deconstruct some of the round wire poles, you know, the ones that don't have a solid backing. Unless I do that, I'm not doing that because there's plants that are on those type of poles already that need an extension. So I've kind of got 2 or 3, I'm not sure. I don't think I'm going to take them apart though. I don't love them. All moss poles are a pain in my butt, really. But these ones are easier for me to maintain. They just don't dry as quickly. And you gotta admit, for putting poles together, the wire ones are much more difficult for me to put together, much more difficult for me to work with. So I prefer to fidget with these, even if even if I find it simple but not easy. It's really not that hard. It's just me, I'm sure. How deep is this pot? A little bit more. I'm also going to put it in a different pot because the bottom of the pot that it's currently in, excuse me, is kind of, it doesn't sit very stably on anything. It's not quite rounded, but the base is smaller than the top. And I find that to be not convenient. So, all right, we'll start with that there. I have a little bit of moss left. It's definitely not enough to do, it's this much. Not enough to do another pole, but it might be enough to get that one a little bit higher if I need to. Where is this root? Won't leave me alone. Let me go throw it away. Maybe then it will. Okay. So it is going back in soil. It has not seemed to hate its life in soil, so, you know, if it's not broke, don't fix it, I guess. I'm just making sure that this soil is the consistency I want. It's not bad. It's chunky, but it's not completely hydrophobic looking. It's got some huge bark in it. I don't know why, but I keep getting this particular kind of bark. I don't know. Can you see that? And it's got enormous chunks in it, like all the time. It's more like mulch in my potting soil. It's going to work fine though, I think. No, I'm not going to fill that yet. Am I? Let's check. I'm pretty sure it's not grabbed anywhere. It doesn't look to have. But let's check before we go making final decisions here. My broken leaf can go. Thank you for all your support. I'm just looking at it to see if there's any cooties on it. There doesn't seem to be. I'm pretty sure it was just yellowing because it was barely attached to the plant. It was broken. This petiole was broke. Got some other petioles here that are dried off. Yeah, that's not grabbed anywhere. You see it flopping? Yeah, okay. Maybe that was a terrible idea. I hope it doesn't break before I can get it out of the pot. Maybe I should do that first, so I can lay it over instead of having it flopping around while I'm trying to work with it. Set that aside. I've just got a tray here to try to keep my mess kind of contained. Look how the stem is so tiny down there on this plant. It's got some roots. Let me set that down for a minute. Just taking the plant ties off. It's got decent enough roots. I hope they're not all up in that metal, the mesh of this pole. Oh, it had one little root that tried to get in there and grab. Oh, okay, it came away easy. Set this on the side. Look at the tag. Oh, you can actually still read the tag. Okay. A lot of times when they're outside, the sun fades the writing so bad you can't read it. Okay. Up toward the front. I'm just trying to make sure the pole is fairly full. Fairly. Alright. Are you gonna stay? You gonna behave? They might. Holy cow. Okay. It doesn't have a ton of roots. They look alright, I guess. I am going to put this deeper down a bit and hope that it will possibly root from somewhere else along there. Get a little bit more root action. Get rid of that petiole from the broken leaf. I don't know if these are long enough to reach on this particular style pole. Let's see. Oops. My bad. Just dropped it like that. Ooh, it barely reaches. Okay. Maybe that'll hold it. But how about you? Not bad. This is the original stump from the cutting down here. I don't know if you can see that. But this bit, and it's actually still firm, and there are no roots, no active roots coming from the newer part of the plant. So once again, I'm going to kind of stuff it down in there at an angle to get some of the newer stem down in there and hope that potentially we will get some more roots. Potentially. I mean, I'm not holding my breath, but I'm definitely going to need a bigger piece of plant tape for that. Pardon me. Getting creative with how we work. If I had 3 hands, I'd be unstoppable. But I don't, so I make do. Come on now. Fidgety, fidgety. Okay. Alright, hopefully that'll do. I don't know, what do you think? It looks okay-ish. Even with its little crispy leaves. Alright. I'm gonna tuck it in. My dog just came in and opened the door for me, so that the bird can holler every time she hears me speak, or continue to holler, I guess. Okay. I think that looks pretty good. And once again, I'll just put it in a cover pot because this is just a nursery pot. A reused nursery pot, but that looks pretty good, I think. I think it looks better with all of the plant facing one side, both of them facing one side, rather than one on one side, one on the other side. And hopefully I'll be able to maintain this situation a little bit easier than the open pole. All right, I'm going to clean my mess up a little bit and then we'll move on to the next. Okay, so the philodendron UPI. It just dries really fast and I don't see much actual soil in there. It's a lot of bark, it looks like. I don't know. But either way, I'm going to pull it out of here, check on it. It's not over-rooted or anything. And it is actually moist underneath all that bark that was on top. So it's not bad. It's not bad. I think I might repot it just a little bit more deeply. This was the original leaf it came to me with. I got it in a trade. So it's actually grown four and a piece leaves. This other one here is stuck, but it's working on another one. I think it's just the underwatering. And it doesn't look like the soil necessarily was at fault, but probably me. I think we're going to take off this original leaf. Goodbye, thank you for all that you've done. And I'm going to let that where I've just ripped it. I'm going to let that dry a little bit before I plant it because I'm going to plant it deeper so that the roots on the new growth have some potential to actually root into some potting mix. I think it'll be okay to wait a little bit longer on a pole. I'm sure it will. It's still teeny tiny. So, yes. Let that dry a bit. I'm going to put it right back in the same pot. Yeah, I'm going to put it in the same pot. But I'm going to let it dry a bit and then we'll come back to that. The other plant I was wanting to work on was this Philodendron glorious, which is it grabbing the pole? It's not grabbing the pole at all anywhere. I'm really tempted to try to manage to scrape up enough moss to make it a pole. Like a full-size pole, I mean, because it's on a shorty right now. But yeah, it's had some rough times. This plant is very sticky with the EFNs, the extra floral nectaries. It's actually got some, like, where they were on the back of this particular leaf, it's got like black spots, like mildew or mold or something has grown on the sticky bits. It's probably just stuff that's collected on it out of the air. But that in the front I can see, especially from the light, I can see some leaf damage from that. I haven't really, this plant gets sprayed outside, but it doesn't necessarily get wiped down and cleaned. So it might knock some of the EFN off out there, but it's never really getting clean. You know what I mean? Looks like some old spider mite damage here and there. Overall, this plant doesn't look bad for being roasted in the greenhouse half the summer. Or neglected, because it has had some neglect out there. But I'm hoping to get it back on track. Once we get a few more leaves, we'll get rid of the ugly damaged ones. But for now, they're still serving their purpose, even if they are a little gnarly. Do I just try to pin it to this pole? No, because if it grows onto this pole, it's going to be a pain in the butt to get onto a new pole. I have a round one, but they dry. They really, really dry so quick here. We're going to do it. We're going to do it, because this here, it's not going to serve any purpose for very long. Even if it did grab here, I would only maybe get a couple more leaves out of it before I had to do something different. But like I said, it really hasn't grabbed, so... I am just pulling off old sheaths, like the dried crunchy bits. That's what I'm sitting in here doing. Just because that's not nice to look at. It's stuck on this one. It's got the new leaf stuck right to the petiole. That's a problem I have with this plant in the winter, when the air is drier. The old sheaths will like basically just glue the next leaf shut. Like they won't let it open or expand properly. If I can keep it very well hydrated, that's not an issue, but I'm not great at keeping anything well hydrated in this house. In the winter, it's hard with the low humidity, and we use a pellet stove for heating, so it just dries the air right out. Sucks the moisture out of everything. All right, let me get a round pole, I guess, and we'll try. We'll try. Okay, I've just been waiting for this moss pole to rehydrate and then drip all over the place some because it's very drippy now that I've saturated it. But it's going to sit back there and continue to drip a little bit while we pull this out of here and hopefully don't get bit by a spider. There's definitely one on here. It's just a little thing. Wow, so this is supporting itself pretty well. Not even attached to the pole. Is there roots into it? Maybe a few. Yeah, there were a few. Of course I snatched it out. Whoops. Cat's in here picking on my dog. Knox. I'm debating if I want to put it right, sorry, right back into the same pot. Decisions. Ooh, I ripped off some roots. Excuse me, some roots. It's not bad. It's not bad. The roots appear to be pretty dark. I'm wondering if I rotted them? No, there's resistance when you tug on them. Oh, that one was gone. Maybe that's just the way they look. I think they're okay. I think they're just dark because they're covered in soil. They're not all dark. See, some of them are coming off pretty easy. But I don't necessarily think that that means that they're rotted or anything. I don't know. Either way, I think it could use a soil refresh. So I'm going to do that. And I think I'm going to leave it planted at the same depth it was, or am I going to put it a smidge deeper? Can I get it any deeper? Let's see. Yeah, I can actually get it a little bit deeper, maybe. And I think I will. I'm going to take this bottom leaf off, just to give it a chance to root more higher. More higher. You know what I mean, right? You understand. So I think that's the goal. Oh, wow, there was a lot of roots right here that I ripped off at some point. Am I helping or hurting these plants? I think it's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. They were probably just stuck to the inside of the pot when I was pulling. So I am going to go with that pot. I'm pretty sure. I have my UPI somewhere that we've still got sitting to let its broken leaf area dry. It looks pretty dry. Okay, we'll get back to that next. Let me set it over here for a moment. This thing is still just dripping everywhere. Still dripping. Not as bad as it was. All right, I guess we're going to go ahead and put some soil in the bottom there and get it in the pot. Oh, I'm going to make a mess. As per usual. Okay. I'm not really packing it in there. I'm leaving it kind of loose. Okay. All right then. Don't you fall. Let's make sure I got the back of the pole at the back this time. I have a bad habit of doing that. I'll put the where the seam is or where the join is right in front. It's not ideal, is it? Oh, please don't let me pet a spider. Yep, I think right about there. Ooh. These poles are heavy when they're wet. I guess every moss pole is heavy when it's wet. I don't know if these metal ones are any heavier. I mean, they're a bit taller than the plastic ones. But as I say, I assume they're all kind of heavy when they're saturated. It's top heavy enough that I don't feel comfortable letting it go. Let's put it that way. And I probably won't until I have it in a cover pot. And even then, it's questionable. It's questionable. I got that straight. I can't ever tell. The floors are crooked, so I can't tell. Floors are crooked, the desk is crooked. I might be a little crooked. I don't think so. Oh, okay, it's staying. It's staying. Please don't fall. Please don't fall. Okay. Let's see if we can't get it closer to the pole. Because it actually looks like it would maybe grab in a couple of different places here. I'm just attaching, or I'm attempting to attach. What's the idea? I'm surprised a lot of the aerial roots, or where the adventitious roots normally would grow on a philodendron, they actually don't look dried off on this plant, even though they weren't really in contact with anything. That's unusual. Please stay. Then up here, yeah. Right there. No, right here, yeah. I don't know what I'm doing. I think I do, but probably I'm fooling myself. Okay. So we're snugly on the pole. At least down here it is. Up here, kind of. Like where the new growth is back there. I know you can't really see because of the leaves. Where the new growth is at the base of this ugly leaf down here, maybe you can see with my pinky, it's up against the pole, so hopefully. Where's my chopstick? I want to make sure I've got it. The moss pushed down enough there that there's not a gap. Yeah, it's kind of loose in this pole, the moss. So I'm going to push it down so that it's definitely going to make contact with that newest node. At least that's the goal here. Okay, I think I'm all right with that. I'm not going to water this right away because the moss pole is still kind of draining, so it might actually water itself. I'm just going to put it in this cover pot that's behind me on the floor. and I will check it later and see if if it needs water or not. Oop, tag. Put the tag back in. Philodendron glorious. Because it actually didn't fade in the sun either. I must have used a better marker. I don't know. All right, our UPI down here. Like I said, I'm pretty sure I'm going to put this guy right back in the same pot. I just want to, I'm actually going to cover this old chunk and hope that some of the newer nodes there will actually take root. That's the hope. Let me change the battery first because it's low. Okay, nice fresh battery. I'm going to leave it alone. I'm not going to break that up or anything. I'm just going to put some fresh soil above and below the existing root ball. This is not as chunky as what I typically use. I did buy some bark, but I just haven't felt the need to make it any, that's too much, any chunkier really. For some plants, I'm sure I'll have to. I've got some begonias that I have to repot, or some that have been in water propagation for a very long time that would probably appreciate being potted up. Okay, so the only thing about this pot, it's not very deep, and I don't want to fill it so that water is, every time I water it, water and dirt and everything are coming out the top, so I'm rethinking this pot. I've got one a little deeper. It's not terribly bigger, but it's deeper. So I should have some room to put some soil beneath the existing roots and above. Yeah, it's going to be kind of deep set in the pot, but that'll be all right. I'd rather that than make a huge mess all the time. And it's see-through, so I can peekaboo at the roots. That's always fun. I just dumped dirt down in the sheath. That's why I was foofing it out. I don't want to make mud there later when I water it. I mean, when I was a kid, I used to like making mud pies. At my age now, though, not so much. I mean, it's not my favorite pastime anymore. So, try not to make a muddy sheath. Alright, use piece of bark. I think that's going to be alright. What do you think? I don't think I want to bury it in each bark any deeper than that. I don't know, it might settle some when I water it in. I can't speak. So, you know, I'll go from there. If it looks like it needs more soil, then I'll put it in there. Why do I have to mess with it? It's still stuck there at the tip, that new leaf. And I feel the need to mess with it. I should not. I should not. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Quit fidgeting, Jen. All right, I'm gonna clean up this mess. Okay. So overall, none of those plants were really doing poorly. How many did we get through? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Does that sound right? That's actually pretty good for me in a fairly short amount of time. I am actually going to continue working on them off camera because I have a couple more that need some just repotting and things like that. Don't necessarily need poles or anything. But yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. A lot of them still need some TLC. But yeah, I'm going to water the ones that need water here and put the others away because now that the other ones are much taller, I have to find a new home for them. I don't know where I'm going to put them. I'll figure it out. Thank you for hanging out with me, and come back and check me out again soon. Bye.